inviting me for presenting this. I'll be quickly running through the presentation in about 55 minutes time from now, which will be by around 5, 6 or 6:10. I'll be almost finishing. And thereafter, I will take your questions. You can continue to keep typing your questions on the chat box. And Professor Sonali will help me towards the end to speak out those questions so that I can deal with them one by one. Would that be fine, Professor Sonali?
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
Okay, fine. So whatever my introduction, that I'm so grateful for the kind words. But you can connect with me through LinkedIn. I have about 20,800 plus connections in LinkedIn. So kindly join me in our network. I have also my personal YouTube channel where there are 72 videos on digital technology and many other management and finance areas, mostly digital technologies. So I will be requesting you to kindly join me. And finally, I have written a book, the second enlarged edition of which is here in front of you. Professor Vandari was kind enough to write a review of this, which has been shared through LinkedIn also. So that's what is a quickly introduction. I'll be having my talk in just 4 segments. One is artificial intelligence, a reflective overview. The word reflective word has been used here. Here I'm not going to get into the area of the technology at all. I will essentially get into the area of what technology can do and can create problems for us. That is the reflective overview I'll share. Then I'll get into the taxonomy of ethics, culture, and AITrism. And after this, I will get into the approaches for implementation of AI project. Again, there I will take ethics, culture, and AITrism. And finally, of course, I'll talk about ethical, legal, and human issues. From that perspective, I'll be using quite a bit of graphics, and those graphics are not all made by me. So I acknowledge the contribution to this presentation of those unknown graphic creators for enriching my presentation. I'll be using those for non-commercial purposes. I'm consciously aware that I'm speaking to a house of lawyers, and I'm not a lawyer. I'm a chartered accountant and a cost accountant, and of course I did my master's in commerce. But if I make any mistakes, kindly point out my mistakes in the matter of law. Quickly, I will get into the reflective overviews of artificial intelligence. I will take resort to Oxford Dictionary because I believe the best book to learn technology and finance is an Oxford Dictionary. The word artificial has been defined by Oxford Dictionary as something made or produced by human beings rather than occurring naturally. That means something which is not done by nature is artificial. Intelligence, of course, all of us know about it. Its ability to acquire knowledge and skills. Now, when we use the word cognitive intelligence, the word cognitive indicates that our ability to recognize something, and in the context of a computer, cognitive intelligence means something which a computer can do equally as a human being can do. Now, if I combine these 3 words and I get the definition of artificial intelligence, it is the theory and development of computer systems which can perform tasks normally requiring human intelligence, such as visual perception, speech recognition, decision-making, translation between languages, and so on and so forth. So, so here the definition brings in the word computer, where computer's capability is being described, which is equivalent to or which capabilities only humankind possesses. So look at the paradox. The paradox here, the first definition of artificial is from the interplay of nature and human being. First definition of artificial is between the interplay of nature and human being. While the fourth definition of artificial intelligence is the interplay between human being and a computer machine. So here, human being is being considered as a natural object. So The journey of artificial intelligence is from nature to human being to computer, and again computer to human being. And the inference is artificial intelligence is the ability of a computing machine to perform a task that a human being can perform. So essentially, artificial intelligence is something connected with human being and a computer when human being makes the computer to function as the human being himself or herself functions. And as you know, in 1930, the work started with Alan Turing, whereafter Mervyn Minsky and John McCarthy developed the subject. Artificial intelligence has got three stages. One is artificial narrow intelligence, artificial general intelligence, and artificial super intelligence. ANI represents something which is used for predicting weather. Artificial general intelligence is something used for capability wise, like English to Bengali translation, Bengali to English translation, recognizing a face, or transcripting from voice to word, etc., etc. And artificial super intelligence, of course, I still do not know whether that is in existence in the world, where machine can do more than what a human being can do. The question here, more than, is to be defined in a different way. Here, more than doesn't mean volume. Suppose a man cannot process and analyze 1 lakh or 2 lakh voluminous data, whereas a human being can make a machine to do it through algorithms. So super intelligence is not the intelligence which perhaps the world has seen as yet. The big question which comes, the reflection on this definition brings us to a big question. Will AI be able to substitute senior professionals' wisdom? Now, we are all along talking about intelligence. We are not talking about artificial wisdom and experiential learning. Of course, experiential learning to a large extent comes into the domain of AI. It has started coming, but it is not wisdom as yet. Of course, some of the AI creators are claiming that wisdom is definitely there. They're in the horizon, and it is going to come very soon. But we have not seen that date as yet. The question here is, human being can be mimicked by a machine, but will they be able to mimic the ethics, morality, emotion, and passion? These four subjects have to be definitely still in the domain of human being, and human being has to work on the computer and be careful about using the output from the computer. So ethics, morality, emotion, and passion, that will be something which we'll be talking more. All of you know that this is the universe of artificial intelligence. The artificial intelligence is the main universe, under which machine learning is the sub-universe. Machine learning has got its own universe, and then it branches out to neural network. By neural network is something which the way human brain processes various information, which may not be parametrically same. Then neural network comes into deep learning, and from deep learning to generative AI. And a new domain has opened now, which is called agentic AI. I'll talk about it very soon. Agentic AI, when a computer operates as an agent of the human being, and it is given a lot of independence to function, and it can take its own decision. That's the agentic AI. Now, here I'm presenting to you something from a research finding, and this slide is very important for us to proceed ahead to the next slide and till the end. Here I'll be talking about AI and contemporary way of living life, and I don't want to mess around with the words here, so I'll be reading it for you. AI and contemporary way of living life. Predicting the future is not magic. It is more of artificial intelligence. Humans and AI are inextricably linked in modern society. Disregarding the benefits from and requirements of AI in preparing the future. I repeat, disregarding the benefits from and requirements of AI in preparing for the future is like paying no heed to the development of the world at large. That means if we do not use AI for our contemporary living, perhaps we will disregard something which we should not do. Fixing the gap between AI, legal, ethical issues is a highly strenuous task. As I was mentioning just now, fixing the gap between AI, legal, and ethical issues is a highly strenuous task. That means whether AI outputs are always ethical output or not ethical output, that if you want to fix it, it's a highly strenuous task. Because modeling machines like humans with same amount of creativity and reasoning skills look non-viable. Uh, so as I was mentioning that you need a lot of emotion, wisdom, ethical thinking process for modeling the computing system and the algorithm for that purpose, and for that creating something which is equivalent to human reasoning skills, perhaps it's still not viable. However, binding one's time for such development to take effect while suffering various challenges by machines that affect society mentally, physically, and economically is not the recourse. The implementation and application of an appropriate legal structure should be there now, which can outspread fairness, justice, stricture several challenges by AI towards humans is a compelling necessity. Here, you people come in the process, and I'll talk about it towards the end, that while we cannot disregard AI from our daily life, in living our daily life, but definitely there is a need for a legal structure which can outspread fairness, justice, and stricture several challenges by AI towards humans in a compelling necessity. So necessity, of course, is compelling. So having legal processes is also compelling. Let's accept. So again, coming to the reflective overview, what are the present day very large advancements which are taking humankind's attention and being adopted in a very, very speedier way? The first one of them is the generative AI. As you know, generative AI is a capability of a computing algorithm which can reproduce something as text, image, video, audio, or structures of complete code, where you give a prompt to the computer. Computer scrapes the entire universe of data where it has access to and given access to, and it recreates something, which also it recreates synthetic data, which finance people use for predictive forecasting. Then becomes agentic AI. This is another very important advancement which has come. Perhaps it has not come to our hands as yet. Generative AI or Gen AI has already come to our hands of daily life. Agentic AI will come very soon, where a computing system will be asked to do something, and the system will do whatever it is to be done with a lot of independence given to the computing system and the algorithm, and then the algorithm will deliver the result. So that's it can make decisions, it can plan actions, it can even learn from experience. That means if it makes mistakes, next time when it will be doing the same job, it will not make that mistake. Coming to retrieval and augmented generation, the RAG or retrieval augmented generation is a change from generative AI, or an advancement from generative AI, where in generative AI, we define the access area. It can be within a private domain of database and information base, or it can be the entire universe of cyberspace, whatever it is, the way you program it. But if you give furthermore authority, the system or the computing algorithm can use any other database which you might have not defined. Suppose you want to know from the MD&A section of a director's report about the word risk in contemporary business developments in 2025, 26, and 26, 27, you want to know about it, which the directors have spoken about in their annual report of 24, 25, and you say that go for FMCG sector and give me a summary. Retrieve RAG will do, it will not only go to the FMCG sector, it will also to go to other sector and produce that. You have not asked for these, but these are the relevant risk areas which you may consider for your FMCG sector also. So retrieval augmented generation has also not come as yet to us, but it will soon come. Of course, data scientists are already using it for their own purposes. Next comes the artificial neural network or neuromorphic computing. Neuromorphic computing again is a new AI development where the computer algorithm does not only work in a specified manner, it uses the what if methodology, like non-parametric decision one can do by decision tree. A human being can do a decision tree or fishbone technique of decision making. The artificial neural network, as you can see from the picture, it can take various parametric points and features and apply what if technologies and then finalize and decide what it wants to do and how it wants to do and how the solution should be defined. So artificial neural network applied to data analytics and strategy formulation is very, very important. Artificial neural network attempts to solve complex problems like summarizing documents or recognize faces with greater accuracy. Of course, next comes the predictive AI. Predictive AI has already come to our hands, which produces synthetic data and synthetic information out of the past data. It uses statistical tables for predicting the future. So these are some of the advancements which has come to my knowledge so far, the neuromorphic computing being the latest one in the field of AI. So with the help of all this, we can create expert systems. I'm doing a reflective overview of artificial intelligence, friends, and that is why I am spending some time here. The expert system can solve these complex problems with a complex database given to it in both structured and unstructured data. If you give, it can make meaning out of the unstructured data and make and cluster out the structured data and then apply various techniques to draw inferences. And natural languages, they can context extraction, machine translation, answer critical question that natural language is used by humanoids also, create decision tree, classification based on commonalities of attributes, etc. It can do. That means it can cluster out also. The artificial intelligence can be applied for planning, creating algorithms for analyzing past data, generating strategic plans. Business risk management with anti-hacking tools also can be used. Like you can create anti-hacking tools. Hackers also create hacking tools by applying AI. So both thesis and antithesis are working in the present day world. Machine learning can reduce dimensions, deep learning, random forest, regression classifier, etc., etc. Machine learning, of course, is the major most application of AI. Vision-based machine learning, it can reduce the dimensions, it can do deep learning, it can do convolutional and recurrent neural working. Of course, robotics, all of us know it can do humanoid, soft robotics, swarm robotics, touch robotics. Swarm robotics is being used in mining industry in a big way, and also used by disaster recovery systems where say earthquake, etc. From the debris, if you want to understand whether there is a human life or not, so swarm robotics are used these days. Robots can cook food, serve foods. Robots can do Aarti of Bhagavan, etc., etc. And speech recognition, of course, by hearing a speech, the robot can say that this is the speech of Paritosh Basu, etc., etc. So these are some of the application-oriented dimensions of artificial intelligence. Here is a list of industry sectors, 26 major industry sectors groups to which artificial intelligence are being applied in a very big way, including education and gaming. As you may be knowing that gaming is a very large industry today. So I don't want to explain to this. If Dr. Vandari shares my presentation with you, you can look at this in detail later. Now let me come to AI taxonomy for ethics, culture, and AITrism. Now, I'll talk about these from the perspective of a CXO. This ethics, culture, and AITrism, I'll talk from the perspective of a CXO, and that CXO can be the chief partner of a law firm, can be the chief partner of a chartered accountant firm, can be the chief executive officer of a manufacturing company or a artificial intelligence based servicing company. It can be anything. So the first thing is articulate the digital vision, mission, policy, and SOPs. Every organization have their vision, mission, policy, and SOP for every functional area. Of course, vision and mission at the organization level. Now we are talking about the digital vision and mission. That's a new thing coming up. Align organizational goals with the targeted goal against application of AI and generative AI. Of course, I am limiting it to AI. It can be all digital technologies. So organizational goals in the context of adopting technology has to be with all digital technology, including AI. Develop a cross-functional strategic mindset. This is very, very important. Success of technology depends on everybody, right from the liftman to the chairman adopting it. That strategic mindset has to be there, and for that change management is very, very important. Chart the strategic roadmap, that is the change management and the adoption and application in the context of AI implementation to attain sustainable competitive advantage. As you may be knowing that we are not adopting AI for charity because charity is not funded for long. At the end of the day, AI has to contribute to the ROI of the organization. So there has to be formulation of effective management plans to build transformative digital culture. Unless culture is driving the whole transformation process, including change management and training and development, nothing can be done. Friends, I repeat the original request of mine. Please put your questions on the chat box so that Professor Sonali can repeat that for us and I can answer. Collaborate to evaluate new options for AI and generative AI tools. Let me tell you one thing. The way digital technologies are advancing and the way integrations are taking place across various digital technologies, particularly robotic process automation, blockchain, IoTs, and AI. AI being the common factor in every technological platforms and technological applications, collaboration for integration is very, very important. And finally, dynamical work on a project AI life cycle. Let me tell you one thing. Any digital transformation project, including AI project, is not a lipstick project. It's not for decorating your organization. It is not a destination project that once I reach a destination, it is done. Any digital transformation project is a journey, and it has to be continuously evolving in your organization, and you have to keep on continuously creating updated capability within the organization. So in that context, the right from top at the vision, mission, and value system and mission setting level by the board of directors till the individual implementer's objective, the individual implementer's objective, understanding, and culture, and the vision, mission, policy setting at the board level has to be completely aligned. And in the process, the company's business strategy and execution strategy must work together. If this is this is implemented in an integrated pyramidal manner, then only you will be able to attain the delight of these of the stakeholders in terms of your satisfied stakeholder, delighted beneficiaries. You can have effective processes, and finally, you can have motivated professionals in a multiple discipline area. So alignment of vision mission is very important with this strategy and the individual objective and way of functioning by implementing the digital technologies, including AI. But while doing this, we should have an excellent guardrail methodology. We should have an excellent methodology for guarding ourselves, a security and management. Are you and your team members? So it's from, again, a research work of mine. I found it from the Sloan Management Review. It asks 4 questions so that you can set whole thing. The first question is, are you and your team considering purpose in every decision? Statement of purpose is very, very important. Are you considering purpose in every decision to ensure that it is aligned with shared strategic objectives? That means the company's strategic objectives and the shared strategic objectives of each CXO and down the line, every employee is very important. Are you enabling rapid access to the well-managed data that is required to make informed and timely decisions? Data being the digital gold of this century, it should be democratized in a manner that it is accessed by everybody and used by everybody, not only the higher echelons of the management hierarchy, but it should be very safe also, safe in terms of all safety measurements. Are you streamlining policies and reusing standards components to speed decisions and developments? That means I was talking about the digital policy, digital vision, digital mission. If the digital vision mission is aligned to the organizational vision, mission, and long-term sustainable prosperity strategy, then the streamlining of policies aligned with the digital policies will happen, otherwise not. Next is, are you regularly adjusting resources based on teams' evolving needs? Everything is talking points only unless and until you commit resources. Resource here means both human resource and financial resource and technological resource. So commitment of financial resources, technological resources, and other facilities must be dynamically adjusted as the things evolve over the period of time and the teams evolving with their innovation projects. So all these things can happen which you have a cultural approach. This is the approach of which I got again through my research from the Maslow Research Center. Maslow Research Center has talked about 3 cultural approaches. The first approach is the guiding star, which I was talking about. These are the guiding principles. The guiding principles are this, then guiding principle is the alignment, and this. That is purpose, vision, mission, values, principles, etc. Then comes the operational fabric. Culture as an operational fabric. That means your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner, everything should have a digital mindset in terms of operational fabric. Shared behaviors, governance process, and policies, systems, etc. And next is employee experience. Employees should have first-hand experience of the organization, the colleagues, and the leadership. That means there has to be a complete transparency and openness of sharing information, etc. So if these things happen, that means your imperatives are, which I mentioned in these 7 points, your alignment of the organizational vision and mission, long-term strategies with the digital vision, mission, policy, and long-term strategies. Finally, the 4 guardrails which will enable the agility. You will always remain agile with the emerging contemporary VUCA elements. wukafu elements of the business ecosystem, then it will be always possible to successfully implement AI. But if you have to make AI as a part of your real life, that means if AI has to be your breakfast, your lunch, dinner, without straining yourself much, then it should be your cultural guiding star. It should be your culture as an operational fabric and culture of employee experience. So this is something which I have myself theorized, 12 principles of financial viability with AI and generative AI projects. So this you will not get anywhere in any book. It is, of course, there in my own book, which Dr. Bhandari has recently reviewed. Now, this 12R principle is very simple. Selection of the right AI project, executing the same with the right set of data for the right purpose at the right time with the right analytics, deploying the right tools and software, using the same right manpower for generating the right outputs that are relevant for taking the right decision at the right cost for the right return, and updating the past learning points at right intervals. That means if 12 arts culminate into one culture, one way of living life at the corporate world or wherever you are working, even at your daily life, other than the corporate world, then of course all AI projects will be successful. Because if there are 12 rights, anything wrong coming in would be difficult, except one thing, which is hacking. So you go for ethical hacking for all your ethical hacking with all your AI projects. That's very important, and I've spoken about it in some of my other presentations and papers. So 12R principle or 12R framework of AI projects is very, very important. Now, we talked about the digital strategy or AI strategy, etc., etc. Now, these are the four pillars of AI strategy. What is the vision? Defining the goals, benefits, success metrics. Next is the value, business impact, change management, people and skills. Next is risk, regulatory, reputational, and competency. And last is adoption, use cases, AI decision framework, and decision governance. Now, these four pillars, whenever an AI organization gets into the AI or digital transformation project, this VVRA framework is very, very important. And of course, we should remember that data's life is also short-living. And right data at the right time for the right purpose is very important. And life of data is also, and relevance of data may not be always the same. So the data's life cycle management is very, very important. And of course, what you get out of the data, getting a feedback, getting the mistakes corrected is also very, very important and fundamentally interesting. Next is AI tourism. I have talked about risk and systems so far, but I have not talked about trust as yet. So trust is very, very important. In AI, trust is very, very important. And trust is a three-dimensional aspect here, according to me. One is people, one is your software or algorithms, and next is data, PSD. You have to trust your people that they will be following all the principles which you are giving. You should be having trust on the data, that the tool you are selecting. So selection of AI tools are very, very important, and you should be having trust on your data. If you do not trust on your data, have trust on your data, then the same GIGO will apply. Here, GIGO means garbage in and garbage out. If your data is wrong, irrelevant, non-timely, suppose, as you know, America has done a very big mistake in their my immigration policy in the context of the Mexico problem, that some data was used which was not relevant to the decision. I don't want to get into the details of the thing. The decision was completely wrong because the data was wrong. To trust the data to be used and the people who will configure and attain the skills of a data scientist. Even let me tell you, if you feel that you as a CXO will be sitting in a very good chair and you'll be using all the benefits of AI, what your juniors will give to you, that will not work. Because in order to become a good AI user, you have to have the mindset of a data scientist also, because at the end of the day, the inferences drawn by the AI system has to be reviewed and evaluated by you. And the most important is that hallucinating AI, that is, AI can create extremely good and nice to be believed kind of defects. And it can do a lot of output manipulations. So you should be having the capability of a data scientist or information evaluator or inference evaluator or conclusion evaluator to review the output by applying your own judgment. There your experiential learning will work, not the AI tools capability. At the end of the day, I started saying that the human wisdom has not yet been taken over by AI, and it is you who is at the center. You means the human being is at the center of the AI TRISM. TRISM means trust, risk, and systems management. So adequate care must also be taken to ensure zero unauthorized access to the data. All possible UAT must be conducted to gain confidence, and periodical ethical hacking has to be conducted in a regular basis. As you know, like you are using the AI, all the hackers are also using AI. In my book, I have a dedicated chapter on hackers: red hat hackers, white hat hackers, green hat hackers, black hat hackers. So all kinds of hackers are there, and hackers are the best capable users of AI than the corporates. So you should be very, very careful about ethical hacking of your database. What are the significant risks you have to take care in case of artificial intelligence? One is the potential job displacement. Everybody knows bias in AI algorithms. I was talking about, like, human being can be biased. I may like a face, I may not like another face. Privacy concerns from data, which is the DPDP Act, which I'll be talking about in the context of a lawyer or an auditor. Next is security vulnerabilities and risk, which I was talking about, hacking. Ethical concern in decision making, whether all the outputs which are coming out from the AI systems are ethically right to go through and to be adopted. Dependence on AI reducing the critical thinking skills. AI should not be a substitute of your own thinking skill. Some people become absolutely lethargic and lazy by use of AI, which is absolutely not. Mind you, you should always have this question mark when you are using AI system. Suppose if this is the AI system of your organization and in between you are the user, please always question AI system outputs. And finally, unregulated AI use leads to unforeseen societal impacts, which we have seen. And I'll give you a story very soon on this. Legal and ethical dimensions of AI. Again, if I come to AI has got, these are the research reports which I have studied, and this is the graphic for it. AI and human rights is an ethical issue. AI in medicine and healthcare is an ethical issue. Let me tell you, United Nations that 1942 Declaration of the Charter of Human Rights, out of that 5 clauses which are applying to human rights in the context of digital technologies, that should be maintained. AI in medicine and healthcare where maximum AI is being applied, here there are a lot of ethical issues, job displacement and economic impact, which is of course there. Ethical use of AI in medicine and healthcare. A lot of hallucinating AI is being used, and the Nobel Prize winner of medicine for creating nutrient, he has used hallucinating AI for getting something. While getting the reviewing the output from the hallucinating AI, he found something which is deep fake, but that deep fake gave him idea to create something else. So while hallucinating AI is bad for you, but hallucinating AI outputs or deepfakes can generate some idea and can trigger innovation in your own mind. Autonomous AI control, accountability and responsibility, transparency and explainability, privacy and data protection, and bias and fairness. These are some of the ethical dimensions, 9 ethical dimensions of AI, which starts with bias and fairness and ends with AI and human rights. This is fundamentally very, very important for us to remember. But you will say, ki, is AI adopted for charity? Answer is no, because you as a CXO or head of your firm will not allow AI to be used unless it adds to the ROI of stakeholders. Absolutely not, because something which is done for charity is not funded for long. So in the context of AI, you must be aware of the impacts. One is the economic impact, which is the tangible ROI, return on investment, with direct financial impact through cost saving, new business and revenue models. Next is the reputational impact. Reputational impact goes to improve the corporate brand image and the product brand image. And if your corporate brand image is better, customers' dependency on your product will improve and your market share will improve. So reputational impact, if AI can be used for increasing your reputational impact, it can finally get into your financial impact also. Next is the capability impact, which I was stressing enough when I was in the vision mission area and the adoption area. But I was talking about it should be a way of living life for the organization, the change management, the culture-driven approach for AI from liftman to the chairman should be such that organization-wide capabilities contribute to long-term sustainability and broader ROI attitude. So AI should be a part of our attitude. Now, you may be convinced with my statement that if an organization develops AI capability, of course, it will contribute to the financial ROI of the company. So these 3 factors or these 3 impacts are interconnected. Economic and again, if you get economic ROI impact, in the second cycle, you will go for advancement with your AI projects. You will go with advancement with your AI project. That means the surplus you generate here with the first round of implementation will be deployed for the second round of implementation, and you will move towards sustainable prosperity. So ethical AI, people feel that ethical AI doesn't have financial impact, but one can prove that ethical AI can go for financial impact. In fact, this concept which I am introducing here is from an IBM research. Though I have not produced the IBM research fully, I'm just taking out the heart of the gist of the research and presenting in front of you. Now comes the taxonomy of ethics. I have 15 more minutes according to the time given to me. Maybe 55 minutes I took, and 15 minutes, I think I'll finish it before that. I again remind you to kindly type your questions in the chat box so that I can answer when Professor Sonali gives me these questions.
Professor Basu, I have already put some questions and some observations
Okay.
on your presentation so far.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll
So
take
yeah, yeah.
over those
And
at the end. I'm
my
finishing
humble,
within another 10, 12 minutes.
yeah, my humble request, so
Hmm.
that we can have more interactive
Oh, sure. Oh, sure.
discourse,
Sure.
because
That's
it's a
the purpose. Yeah.
very interesting and thematic presentation we are watching and listening.
Okay.
So thank you very much.
Now, from the context of taxonomy of ethics, we have three domains. One is the physical domain, one is the cognitive domain, and one is the information domain. Cognitive domain means the capability of the machine to do what humankind can do. And information domain, of course, is the data and the information, and of course, physical domain. Physical domain gives you the technological ethics and people ethics. Information domain gives you the information ethics. That means you should have trust and dependency on the data you will be using for application of AI. And cognitive domain is the machine learning ethics, the technological ethics. Now, when technological ethics and AI ethics intersects each other, you get the robotics ethics or machine ethics. When the technological ethics and information ethics interact with each other, you get the computer ethics or ICT ethics, information and communication technology ethics. When the information ethics and AI ethics interact with each other, you get the computational ethics. When robotic machine ethics, computational ethics, and computer ICT ethics, all these three ethics function and intersects together, you get the digital ethics. This is what we have to achieve. That means from the outer domain to the next level of domains of ethics to the core domain of ethics, we have to reach. This is essentially very, very important to understand how ethics can help you. This particular graphic helps you to appreciate and understand how things can be approached and segmented, because ethics by itself is a very big or a not understood or a misunderstood or semi-understood word. But if you segment it according to the components which will be deploying in your working methodology, perhaps it becomes easier for us to appreciate. So we have to liberate through what is the job of ethics? Ethics is to liberate the darkness from AI. Ethics of AI is quality of its prediction. Ethics of AI is ethical quality of the end outcomes inferred from the prediction, and ethical quality of the impact it has on human beings. That means prediction itself is not correct. If it is ethically sounds to be good and okay to the organization, it must go to the next level of testing. That is how it will impact the larger audience. That means who are not my direct stakeholders, that the society as a whole, what will be the thing. Like we today talk about the impact of social media and application of various AI tools which Facebook or some other tools are using, and creating havoc, social havoc. So ethics, not only from the perspective of your tool and prediction and for the ROI purpose of your organization, but also from the perspective of human beings. Negatively, so it can negatively harm the humanity. It can independently impact the ability of the access of resources, etc. Essentially, your job is to remove the darkness from ethics. Now, ethics include, what are the ethics, points of ethics included? Data responsibility, opacity of AI modules, transparency, fairness, and robustness of the entire process. We, of course, spoken about all these. I'm summarizing it together. Explainability of all data when subject to scrutiny, inclusion of all stakeholders, morality of all professionals, value alignment, accountability from the perspective of laws, rules, and regulation, trusteeship of stakeholders, transparency and interoperability of algorithms, environment friendly and suitability and technology misuse. So from the CXO's lens, ethical lens, your data biases should not be there. your interoperability of various technological operations should be there, and fairness, accuracy, and ethics of outcomes should be there. So ethical lens has to be deployed by the CXOs to take care of all these points of ethics, which are even tertiarily applicable to you, because even tertiary points in the long run perspective affects your sustainability. So that's very, very finally important. And from the perspective of generative AI, one should be very careful because generative AI can create defects. And you should be very, very, lawyers use generative AI these days in a big way. And I'll give you a story just now. Hallucinating AI also, you should be very, very careful because it can generate results which are too good to be true, and synthetic data, which should be also, you should be very, very careful about it. Now, let me give you that story. It has been reported by BBC and it has been reported by Forbes also. You might have heard that story. It was the case of a New York lawyer who is presenting a case in support of his argument in a particular court of law on a case. And he said that this particular case, which has been presented to the judges, should settle the point of law here. The judges concluded that the judge said that the court was faced with an unprecedented circumstance after a filing was found to be reference example legal cases that did not exist. That means the case was created by ChatGPT in such a manner which led the lawyer to believe. Lawyer created a query in ChatGPT that these are my issues, these are my point of argument and law, and this is the issue to be settled. Please give me a case which is available in the country. What ChatGPT did, it constructed a synthetic case which never existed in the court of law anywhere, which was never judged out by any court of law anywhere, and it has given a judgment. And the lawyer used it. Finally, the ChatGPT created the original text on request, but comes out that it, with warning, produced inaccurate information. That means the judge finally concluded that such a case never existed in USA, and finally the lawyer himself was jailed. So be careful about using ChatGPT or Gemini invented by Google. So now I'll come to DPDP Act in a very limited way and tell you DPDP Act gives, I believe the DPDP Act has not been made operational as yet. The notification hasn't come, but some of the issues are very important for us to note here. Right to information, it gives us right to correction and eraser, a right to nominate, and right to grievance redressal. These are the rights DPDP Act gives. DPDP Act defines personally identifiable information. DPDP Act defines personally identified information, which means, 1 minute. I think I cannot erase this. Personally identifiable information, PII, that means any information of my bank account, my mail ID, my address, etc., etc. With the implementation of DPDP Act, processing PIIs with AI tools by third parties will undergo transformational change, and there can be potential impact of auditors. Let me tell you, an auditor has gone to Infosys, let's assume, and now doing a major audit of their salary processing systems, payments, etc., etc. Now the company has given them a huge data load of individual employees' bank accounts and individual employees' addresses, names, etc., everything which is needed. Now auditor will be definitely preserving it for audit evidence for at least 10 years, because in the subsequent year, if any litigation comes in the court of law, auditor has to produce before the court of law that this is the data given by the organization on which I relied upon and generated my opinion. Now the question comes in that the company becomes the data principal, and the organization which process the payroll, assume that the IT company which you are auditing, there is a third party payroll processor, he becomes the processor of the payroll. Now the processor himself is a fiduciary of the information because he has to keep the information intact. Now the auditor who has been given by the principal the information and who has done his audit work using those information is also a data principal, a data fiduciary. So,
Professor Basu,
yeah,
sorry for interruption. Can I just share a few important information or facts about the DPDP Act as we are dealing with
sir,
this?
sir, interact within another 2-3 minutes. I'm finishing.
No, please. Okay.
Then you can
I
definitely
would
talk
like to
about all
make some
this.
clarification
Yeah,
on the
we
issues you
can
have raised
definitely talk
as to
about.
who is data fiduciary and who is data principal in a given case. That's all.
Right.
Because I'm
Okay.
conducting nationwide workshops
Huh.
and for various organizations and institutions on DPDP Act itself. So I would like to intervene
Sure.
later.
I will
That's
like to hear you out after the presentation is over.
thank you,
Another 2-3 minutes, sir. Kindly bear with me. So many of the auditing firms, many of the payroll processors, many of the consultants, even a consultant who uses for forensic audit or any other consulting purposes, the legal dimensions are very important. That's why I repeat what I spoke in 2011 in the Oracle National Conference, where I was the only non-technical guy speaking about systems. IT digital jurisprudence should be a paper in every management school and technical school. IT digital jurisprudence. I used to call it IT jurisprudence. Then I changed it to ICT jurisprudence, information and communication technology jurisprudence. And now I'm saying IT and digital jurisprudence. That is my suggestion. Effectively, this is my last slide in terms of the various issues which I will request you guys to reflect upon. First is the violation of IPR, which we spoke about in ChatGPT, etc. What happens if AI is completely directionless? There is no ministry, there is no organizational direction, etc., and people are using it randomly. If you don't have the legal authority to use the data, what happens? IT creates unemployment. What happens in robotic process automation and robot fail to collaborate with human beings? Suppose in a manufacturing system, if a robot fails to collaborate with human beings and a big accident occurs, who will be blamed? Is the robot creator or the software which was operating the robot? Transition, that means if the transition is painless, then it's okay. But if the transition is not painless, what happens? Inequality. How do we distribute wealth created by AI and RPA? That means if RPA gives you ROI, then the money which you generate, how you will distribute? Is it that the company owners or the technology owners will be the money makers? What happens to the bias of the robot? If a bank is using a robotic advisor, who will be responsible? Will the bank be responsible? Will the robot be responsible, which is a machine, artificially intelligent machine? Or will the software creator be responsible? Evil genies, how do we protect against unintended consequences? What is about singularity? How do we stay in control of a complex intelligent system? Is the system the controller of itself or is it the human being? Robot rights. Can I switch off a robot? That is what is being debated in the world. Has the robot as an inanimate object should also have some right? And finally, artificial stupidity. So this is the information from the Ministry of this is an information I gathered from an editorial of Economic Times, where it says that we should have a Ministry of IT and there should be an IT minister for capacity building of India promoting nationwide safe but innovative AI culture. That means as a nation, we should have an AI culture, not only as a company. Promoting ethical developments, turbo boosting R&D, democratizing access, and managing risk around AI. So the question is, will the law ministry itself take over the job of the AI ministry, or a guy who is legal or technology expert like Galter's law tech organization, will they take it over? Because in that situation, both terms management, policy management, and legal management will be very useful. This kind of things are already happening in UAE, France, Britain. I do not know whether it should come in India, and if it should come, how soon it should come. Finally, my concluding remark is technology doesn't have morality, emotion, compassion, ethics, and value generation skills of its own. I repeat, technology doesn't have morality, emotion, compassion, ethics, and value generation skill of its own. The technologies have those. Therefore, success of digital transformation will depend on those human qualities and of solution builders. That means success of digital transformation with AI will not depend upon only on the AI, but on the human qualities of digital technologies who should have morality, emotion, compassion, ethics, and value generation skill. It should be grounded on the human foundation of universal altruism and sustainable shared values. Humanity is one and the world is its home. Hence, the need of a global regulatory body is also important. Regulator must not control with oversight, it must control with insight. And customers should have option for self-initiated executable contract. So here I stop, and thank you very much indeed. Before Albert Einstein, before we get into question and answer, let me remind you about one comment of Albert Einstein. He said, I feared that day, the day that technology will surpass our human interaction, that the world will have a generation of idiots. I repeat, I fear the day that technology will surpass our human interaction. The world will have a generation of idiots. Whether generation of idiots will be there in the world, or I don't know. Whether Albert Einstein said it also, I really don't know. I cannot vouch for it. But that fear still stays with us. Thank you very much indeed. And it is time for your question and answer. Before that, Dr. Bhandari can speak about.
Thank you, Professor Paritosh Basu, for such a thought-provoking presentation coupled with thematic and fundamental issues touching upon the artificial intelligence and its application. And you have rightly flagged what are the issues which are going to impact all of us from a managerial perspective and also from a human perspective. Uh, you were referring about the Albert Einstein. Recently, Yuval Noah Harari, one of the great writers, in his book Nexus, has written about that the way in which we are developing artificial intelligence, we are moving towards suicidal uh, tendencies. So it is going to have a self-killing impact. That is how he has described the ongoing development in the domain of AI. I have put some questions and some observations in chat box. I think Sonali would share with you. And before that, I would request, before you address my issues raised in the chat box, I would request other participants. And here I would just also add, Professor Basu, you mentioned that I am speaking before lawyers. You are speaking before not only the lawyers, but technocrats. Venkata S.R. Verma is a deep, hardcore technologist. Uh, and you yourself is a management expert guru and a technology gospeller. So we have a wonderful team of expert ex, representing various domains of knowledge and learning. So, Dr. Sonali, over to
Yes, sir.
you.
Yes, sir.
You can ask our participants to raise their questions, and later you can also share my questions. Some
Okay.
are, one or two of them are on lighter side, just to make the heavy presentation little lighter. Okay, over to you, Sonali.
Um, Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful session. I'm really mesmerized with your AI skills and all kinds of things that you have portrayed. Because since we come from a law background, this is a little bit very we are very unfamiliar with this, but yet it's a very important issue for a legal expert. As a legal expert, when we are talking about,
Thank you. Thank you.
that is indeed a very important aspect. I would request our participants if they want to ask any questions, since we have yes, Firdaus sir, could you
Vani.
please unmute yourself? Vani sir, could you please unmute yourself? Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. First of all, I want to congratulate Dr. Basu about his really thought-provoking
Thank you.
presentation, as rightly said by our Professor Bandari. I will not ask questions. I will make certain observations. First and foremost observation is that as and when there is a new invention, it has been seen in the first science revolution and the second science revolution, that human beings, particularly the experts and social scientists, they are getting jittery because they are not able to appreciate and analyze the future. So, what is the apprehensions? What will be the consequences? What will be this? It happened the same time, same way when I did my PhD in biotechnology. It is a legal aspect of biotechnology issues and challenges. The same thing happened there. Nobody was knowing that as and when there will be human cloning, what will happen. Till date, human cloning has not happened because from every corner, from religious leaders, from social scientists, from scientists, they came together and thought that it will not be good for the human race. Likewise, here also, all human beings, particularly social scientists, because they are having, and the lawyers, legal experts, and the scientists, they should come together, have a thought provoking sessions like we are having here, and then come out with the certain parameters that up to this we have to go, and after that it will be dangerous. Perhaps after 10 years, people who are alive, they may think that no, we should go one step ahead. That's one observation. Second is that usually what is happening, why there is a lot of chaos in the system, we are not involving social scientists and law experts in the decision making process. Scientists are there, they are creating. And I am like, if I will write a book on biotechnology or even this AI, I will be anxious to sell my idea at any cost. And likewise, the scientist is having his baby, his invention. He is not appreciating what are the consequences of his research. So, social scientists are there, they are impartial people. Lawyers are there, law experts are there. They will come in the field and they will tell him that they will, because they appreciate the necessity of the society. What are the needs of the society? And at times, we have seen that social scientists are able to predict the future.
Sir, I could not agree with you more.
It's
And
all,
let me
these are
assure you,
observations, sir.
let me assure you that whatever research papers I am reading these days on
Sir.
technology and integration with other area of scientists like social scientists, legal luminaries, this collaboration has already started. At the end
That's
of
my
the day,
point.
human
That's my
race
point.
has to survive. So that's why I was saying that multilateral agencies must have to come forward and have an integrated approach to the aspects. And unless AI is given a insightful oversight,
Sir,
things may go into wrong direction. I agree
absolutely.
with you.
Sir, one point. Why I am asking you because Professor Sonali, Professor Bandari, because we have come from the university system, and in university system we are having tight compartments. a social scientist is not interacting with those who are from the science or technology or engineering background.
Sir, that time has changed.
It
Now,
has
even
changed,
the
sir.
new education policy is laying much emphasis on
On the
Choice-based
credit
Multidisciplinary
choice,
approach in
uh,
education.
and multidisciplinary, uh,
action,
uh,
sir.
and we are doing it. I think
No, no, no.
universities have
That is
adopted that pattern
that that
very,
that
very well.
that is evident from the
Yes.
formation of GALTER also.
Thank
Because
you,
here
thank you.
Professor Bandari
Yes,
has
we are
grew up in
we are
all.
multidimensional persons.
Sir.
Thank you for that.
Thank you very much,
So,
sir.
Dr. Sonali, before we move forward, can
Yes,
we
sir.
have a common screenshot for all our participants who
Yes,
are
sir.
present
Yes, sir.
and request them to please switch on their webcam so they can be there.
I request all the participants, please switch on your cameras so that we can have a group photograph virtually.
And there is a reason for a smile after listening to
Yeah.
Professor Basu. Don't be so serious.
I'm waiting for everybody to please switch on their cameras.
Monica madam and Dr. Chandrasekhar, are you hesitant? Please switch on quickly so that we can move forward. Yeah.
Ms. Shraddha Srivastav has already shared some photographs.
Oh, good. Later you can share to me.
Yes,
I'll
sir.
share to all.
She is constantly clicking photographs
Oh,
and
very
sending
good.
it to me.
Thank you, Shraddha. Thank you. Okay. Before we move to next, Professor Basu, you raised the issue in Data Protection Act, DPDP Act, that suppose Infosys has shared some data collected by it to a company, audit company, for evaluating the pay structure or other things. Now here the point is, as per DPDP Act, it is very simple. The Infosys is a data fiduciary because Infosys has collected data of its employees or data of its customers, whatever data Infosys has collected, it is a data fiduciary. The data collected by the people who have shared the data with Infosys for getting some services or some goods or some products like e-commerce company, they are data principal. It is an individual whose data is collected based upon the prior notice and consent. And consent must be specific consent, whether you can further use that data for other purposes than you have collected. Of course, they are section 7 and 17 have some exceptions for health, for government schemes, and for law and enforcement. The data can be shared without obtaining consent. But general principle is that the data person who shares the data is a data principal. Or in common parlance, I used to say data owner because he is the owner of the data. Person who has collected data is a data fiduciary. And data fiduciary can get it
A
evaluated.
data principal is also a data fiduciary.
Data principal is not necessarily. Yeah, data principal is a data owner. He shares the
because the employee has reposed his trust and faith on the employer and shared. So in that context, he is also a fiduciary.
No, that is a different term. From DPDP Act perspective, employee is a principal, data principal. Infosys is data fiduciary. Data fiduciary has specific obligations, and the third party to whom data has been shared for processing is a data processor. In DPDP Act, it is the data fiduciary which is responsible for data breach. If that data processing has been done beyond the limitation, beyond the allowed limits or beyond the permissible limits, then Infosys is responsible. Infosys and data processor will have a contractual obligation that you will, and they will monitor.
So I agree with you completely. Without arguing with you, I just want to make one point. Suppose there is a data breach has taken place in Infosys's own database and somebody has stolen the data and used for some unethical purposes.
Correct.
In that case, the fiduciary responsibility of Infosys doesn't go away. He is also a principal and also a fiduciary.
No. He is not the principal. He is a fiduciary. Infosys collected data Infosys has a responsibility, legal responsibility to ensure security. Infosys can get it processed by third party. It may be in India or abroad with certain limitations. The Data Protection Act will not hold processor as responsible because he is an agent of the fiduciary. He is an agent of the Infosys. So Infosys will be held responsible for data breach. Now, between Infosys and the third party,
there will be contract act
there will
application.
be a contract and they can recover from them.
Correct.
Or they can cancel the contract, whatever action they want to take. Further, suppose reputational harm has been done to data principal because of leakage of some health records, that a person has got AIDS, that critical data has been shared because of getting treatment from hospital, and that data has been leaked to third party, either by processor or by the hospital, say Apollo Hospital, for example. Then he can also file, in addition to the compensation, which will the not sorry compensation penalty, the principal, the patient can also file a legal case.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Thank
let's
you very
get
much.
into the other questions if there are.
Yes, we do have a question from Professor Sindhu. He has asked, what important aspect do EU, that is European Union, has about AI which Indian need to consider under DPDP Act for its effective implementation?
Professor Sindhu is our member, and he's a professor and former dean at Himachal University, Shimla School of Law. Professor Sindhu, can you please unmute yourself and okay, please respond to
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
As far as Professor Sindhu, as far as my knowledge goes, I believe the DPDP Act has taken lots and lots of thought processes from the GDPR. That means European General Data Protection Rule. And like India has converged to the IFRS of International Accounting Standard Board, similarly, Indian Parliament and the legal system has not adopted the GDPR per se, but has done a lot of convergence to GDPR to the extent it is applicable in the context of India. And I personally feel that the GDPR has been overall highly acclaimed by all Indian stakeholders. Thus, all the aspects of GDPR perhaps have been taken care of to the extent it is constitutionally and socio-politically and socio-economically applicable to India. That's my view.
Professor Sindhu, Professor Paritosh Basu, allow me to add a footnote to it, because I've been conducting countrywide workshops on DPDP Act, and I think we are planning at your university also, Professor Sindhu. There is one fundamental difference. You are right. GDPR is a model law for all the countries. There are almost 157 countries who are adopting data protection law in a different way. But fundamental principles are from GDPR. One fundamental difference between DPDP Act and GDPR is, there are other differences also I have highlighted in my upcoming book, is that in the compensation, the penalty which is levied in GDPR is much higher than India. India also has a highest penalty in any act so far, 250 crore for data breach, maximum up to. But the vital difference on which we are also fighting with the government is the data principal who will be the victim of data breach. Suppose my data breach has occurred, I will not get any penny. The entire amount recovered as a penalty will go to the consolidated fund of India as per section 40. Whereas in GDPR, the victims, the data subject, they call it data subject, we call it data principal. They will also get compensation out of the penalty and fine imposed on the data fiduciary who is committing data breach. That is one major difference. Maybe we can also amend our law in time to come and address this issue also. And
thank you, sir.
And EU also has enacted now Artificial Intelligence Act. And we are also covering, we are still not very clear still, under Digital India Act, which is proposed. We are also addressing the AI issues like deep fakes, and other things. This is in process, so I can't say much about that. Thank you. Over to you, Sonali. Let us.
Yes, sir. So, apart from Professor Sindhu, we don't have any other question which is there in the chat box. So, anybody who would like to ask any question, the floor is open.
Srinivas, I think you are expert in AI and you are working with Bank of America and also a keen academic interest. If you can listen to me, you can also join the debate. Dr. Srinivas. Okay. Professor Andrew, would you like to raise some issue? Okay. Now you can read out 2 or 3 of my questions.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Actually, sir was asking, there is one thing that sir has written. What do you think, Professor Basu, about claim of patent or copyright by creation done by AI?
It's simple. The theory is very simple. You may be knowing that one of my software creation has been registered for patent registration in USA. It is available in Google. If you search Google by patent Dr. Paritosh Basu, my feeling is that what I have gathered in terms of creation of software patent is that I have defended 18 software before me, which are around the software which I created. If you generate a AI-oriented solution using artificial intelligence technology, if you can prove that solution is one of its kind, first-time art, and only solution available in the entire world ecosystem for solving a problem, then you are allowed to get the patent. Like, I'll give you a very interesting case.
No, sir, Professor Basu, sorry for interruption. The question, the debate which is going on in Dabu's case, initially South Africa granted patent to a AI system. But later on they withdraw it, and world over, the AI per se, I mean, not the developer of AI, you are a developer of software and you can get patent, fair enough, if it is novel and meet all the requirements. AI generated paintings, no human intervention, has been sold in millions. So they cannot get
I'm
patent.
not getting into that part of it.
Yeah, I'm asking that. Because
if you have generated a video or if you have generated a output by scraping the data of others and by combining and created something new by generative AI, I don't think the patent should not be granted. I don't think patent should not be granted. So that's, I'm for sure. I'm talking about a solution.
Yes.
Solution, unique solution you are generating by application of AI. Like I generated a solution by application of computing technology, which US has agreed to grant patent. If you go to Google, you can find it. And there are pages after pages have created defense of mind in support. I agree with you, Dr. Bhandari, on that score.
Thank you. Yeah, one interesting, Sonali, please continue.
Sir, I just wanted to add on, recently there were some Facebook posts about some AI pictures that have been taken, and people were really, it was actually rumored that maybe some actress or some actor got married or somebody has died, and that was AI, like it was purely intervention of AI, somebody has taken it. And there is an important question that what about the life of those people whose life are deeply affected by that, whose picture was actually that. So these things, I think
the constitutional principle will apply, which is emanating from the principle of United Nations human rights, 1942 Paris Declaration, where it says that everybody has a right to have the privacy of their life. If you intervene into the privacy of other people, the law of the land will come into force and give you the permit, the whatever punishments are there, you'll get it.
Venkata, Mr. Venkata, you are developing some softwares for hospitals. Can you listen me, Venkata?
Yes, sir. I'm listening.
I think you can also interact with Professor Basu because you are from the hardcore technology domain.
Sir, very good evening, sir. Sir,
good evening.
He recently joined GALTER.
Sir, I have been attending for the DPDP Act sessions along from Ministry of Electronics, and I had attended some CISO programs also, sir. But the way you have given the insights of every parameter of the AI driven, sir. Sir, this is the first kind of that kind I have seen such kind of presentation, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Congratulations to Professor Basu.
Yeah, because we were actually keen of identifying these things where we are there, but these are the real challenges, sir. I want to have a small question on this, sir, because uh, there is a security which is also need to be added upon AI, sir. How it works is, for example, I'll tell you what are the challenges over here in my department which we have faced, sir. One of the employee has told, sir, please allow me to write the software through AI. I said that will not be okay, or we were not in a position to take a decision, because people start when they start using AI, they will be not in a position to think. They usually give some input and they get the input. But ultimately, after listening some sessions and the recommendations from the ministry, sir, we have understood that we should not give the input because it starts speeding like a Python. Whatever the things we will be giving inputs, they will take it up, and maybe after a uh, uh, few years or a few decades of time, so the entire system is in control of that AI module which we are using effectively. And that is where the other way also, sir, if we don't give the input to the AI, so the algorithm will start not having that kind of input. So maybe the person who has uh, uh, established that machine learning, they may remove that kind of things from the AI module also. This is what the other side of that, sir. For example, like if you don't feed the snake, so obviously it will die. That is how, if you don't give the inputs of the data also, obviously after a certain period of time, the machine learning language, whomsoever they have been given that algorithms in that, they might not be a good input for that, and they might remove for the balancing of the load, sir. These are the
I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you.
sir.
Essentially, what you talked about is something which is near to agentic AI, where you are saying that the AI algorithm will take over the control of the machine. That
Sir.
means if you give that particular software AI tool to control and have access to all your transactional systems and processes, it will start interfering into. So it is up to you as a controller of technology of your organization to allow access to that particular AI tool to your programs. So selectivity of accessing the other programs by that tool it should be your control. AI should not be your controller. You should be the human controller of the AI.
True, sir. True, sir.
That is the perspective I want to bring.
Thank you. Okay. Anything?
No,
Dr. Sonali,
Yes, sir.
Verma, you want to continue, or it's okay
Uh,
now?
no, sir. That's it, sir. And the security parameter, I think, sir has covered in that whatever the human intervention and the threats we are having towards the AI. Because now these days, I have listened 2 to 3 cases where AI is asking the human race to commit suicide, or such kind of things are happening. So in that way, maybe sir slide is a very good source for us to learn from that, sir. Sir, I should seriously today, whatever the roots, sir. When we talk about a DPDP Act and the AI is of the stem of a tree, sir, your inputs are like the roots, core roots of the ground, which has held up the entire part, sir. Sir, I'm very happy to see your presentation. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. I have a personal YouTube channel. You can, at your leisure, you can look at those videos. There are 72 videos there.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
Okay.
If anybody is not willing to raise any issue, then I can simply raise one issue,
Yes, sir.
one last issue, which is partly on lighter side as well as on the serious note. Professor Basu, you have mentioned 12 hours, 12, and that's a good guidance for safe and secured and beneficial use of AI. But my point is, the who will decide what is right? AI will decide what is right, or human beings will decide?
No, sir. The
It is
R
on
part
lighter
will
side
come
also.
from your vision. That's why I very well talked about integration with vision, mission, and strategy of the organization. Those R's are to be aligned with the vision, mission, and strategy of the organization for long-term sustainable prosperity and your digital vision and mission. That's why I said that you have ROIs, three types of ROIs. One is your financial ROIs. Second is your
Reputation.
impactful ROIs in terms of corporate image and brand image. And third is your approach and your character ROI. So decision will not be taken by RI tool. It can't decide. At the end of the day, AI tool should be your slave. That is
Yeah,
what I have always impressed upon.
yes. I think the crux of all the technological developments and applications is that the technology is a good servant but bad master.
Bad master.
Yeah, that's I think the human being should always be at the center of controlling and regulating technology, not allow the technology to dominate or overpower the human beings. That is the crux. Thank you. Anything, anyone, or can we conclude? It is already, I think, 6:45. Uh, Dr. Sonali,
Yes,
I
sir.
think I enjoyed talking to all of you here.
Same here, sir.
we are also again in-depth analysis of the theme, and please share this PPT with me in mail, and I will put it on our website and also share with the members who are willing to see it later.
Yes, please. Yes.
So I request Professor Basu to please share.
Yeah. I'll be happy to come to your universities and wherever Dr. Bhandari gives me any opportunity. I'll be happy to take 6-8 hour session. I do a lot of FDPs and MDPs, faculty
We are
development
planning.
programs and management development programs. In
Good.
fact, I'm going to Bangalore for a 16-hour FDP for an organization. I've done a lot of such MDPs and FDPs.
I know.
I'll be happy to do those in any corporate or university. Thank you.
Professor
Great.
Basu was one of the keynote speaker in a 2018 global international conference held in a physical mode. At that time, there was no fashion of online, and
Yes, sir, I do a
on
lot
the way
of,
to Hyderabad.
I have done a session on critical thinking and strategy for HPCL, Hindustan Petroleum. Recently, I've done for a metal company. Third, I'm doing for a Bangalorean company.
No, I know your great
So,
potentials.
if any service is required from my
we will
perspective,
use.
you can.
We will definitely explore how we can make best use of your expertise
Thank you, sir.
in a physical mode or in an online mode. And this Professor Basu has presented his second webinar in this series of 21 webinars, and it was really a wonderful. Over to you, Sonali, for
Yes,
vote
sir.
of thanks. Vote
Okay,
of
sir.
thanks.
As we come to the close of this enlightening session, it is my honor to extend our heartfelt gratitude to all those who made this lecture series success. First and foremost, I would like to express our deepest appreciation to our distinguished guest, Dr. Paritosh Basu, sir. So your expertise and thought-provoking perspective have enriched our understanding over such a relevant contemporary area. I would also like to thank Professor M.K. Bhandari, sir, for initiating this lecture series. A big thanks to all the members of GALTER and participants who joined this webinar, which has boosted up our morale. As we conclude, let us take forward the knowledge and ideas shared today and strive to implement them into our respective fields. Once again, thank you for all joining this session.
Let me also thank you, Sonali, for conducting this session. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sonali, and thank you all the participants, and of course our own Galterian, Professor Basu. He is not guest for us.
Yes.
He is one among us. Of course, today he is a distinguished speaker. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sonali, for seamless,
Thank you, sir.
flawless.
Thank you, Professor
conductivity.
Vani. Thank you, Professor Ko.
Thank you. So with this, we conclude. And also thank you, Professor Andrew Ko from Singapore. You joined yesterday also, and you are today also present. Because thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Did we conclude? Okay.
Okay.
Okay.